like to try.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I am reviewing the 2019 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Red Eye, or just simply put, the Red Eye. The Red Eye basically is, you could say, a demon. There's only a few things that don't carry over, like the skinnies, the drag radials, the drag suspension, and of course, trans brake. Those are the things that don't come over. The race PCM crate that gives you 840 horsepower, it's slightly detuned at 797 horsepower versus 808 of the Demon. But it does get the 2.7 liter supercharger as well as 14.5 pounds of boost. The regular Hellcat gets a 2.4 liter blower with 11.6 pounds of boost. So you're getting about 3 pounds more boost and a bigger supercharger, which is where all the horsepower is coming from. The engine is basically from a Demon. It gets the same torque reserve and launch control as the Demon, 3.9 PSI at launch, 55% higher torque reserve capacity at launch. The electronic steering, 41 spline axles in the rear, 20% stronger than the ones that come on the Hellcat. High strength steel prop shaft, which is 15% stronger. You're also getting the power chiller and after chiller before and after runs, just like the Demon, to cool this sucker off when you're running at the drag strip. Now, Dodge claims 10.8 at 131. I've seen them run 10.6. There's also guys with just drag radials, bone stock, that are running 10.3. You're also getting a high stall torque converter, which has 18% more multiplication and 11% more stall speed versus the transmission that is in the Hellcat. You also have the option of 262 rear gears or 309 like the Demon. I opted to get the 262 gears, which is better for highway rolling and top speed, and the speedometer says 220 miles an hour. 2 dual stage fuel pumps, which is much better than the ones that come in the Hellcat. And not only that, the red line has been increased from 6,200 to 6,500 RPM and still maintains a cruising highway mile per gallon of 22. Now, when you're not getting on it, which I know is going to be very hard for a lot of you guys to do, 13 in the city, 22 on the highway. Believe it or not, I'm getting about 23 to 24 miles per gallon on the highway when I'm not getting on it. That says a lot for a vehicle that has 800 horsepower or 797. That's just insane. The Red Eye also comes with the 20x11 Devils SRT wheels, which are equipped with 305, 35, 20 Pirelli P0 all seasons or summer sport tires, which are absolutely needed with a car with 797 horsepower. I would actually go ahead and say they probably would need 335s in the back to really put the power to the ground, even stock. Give the Red Eye a pulley and tune and you're going to be upwards of 850 wheel horsepower on pump and 900 on MS109 and 900 plus on E85. That's a lot of power for such little work. Another fun fact about the Red Eye is it pumps out 1.43 gallons of fuel at redline per minute. That's right, the 16.7 gallon tank could be completely drained and siphoned bone dry in only 11 minutes of racing. 0 to 60 on the Red Eye is 3.4, but you're not going to get that with the stock tires that come on this vehicle, even the summer tires. You're going to need some Michelin Pilot Cup sport tires or drag radials. Otherwise, you're not going to see 3.4. You're probably going to get about 4.5 or 5 at best. It's very hard to launch this car. There is so much power. Dodge brought back the classic dual snorkel hood for the Red Eye. I was on the fence about it when I first saw it, but then I fell in love with it, and to be honest, I like it better than the Demon hood, and a lot of people I know agree with me on that. It's grown on them and it looks absolutely fantastic, especially when you get the hood in satin black. Now, in case you're wondering, even though the dual snorkels are smaller than the wide open vent on the hood of the Demon, both snorkels do feed to the intake. The passenger side snorkel does feed into the driver's side, which goes to the airbox. Now, even though Dodge hasn't mentioned anything about the suspension on the Red Eye, it's completely different than the Demon, which goes without saying, but it's also noticeably different from a driver's perspective than the Hellcats. I owned a Hellcat Charger, and I've also driven many Hellcat Challengers. Street mode in the Red Eye is about the equivalent of sport mode in a Hellcat, and sport mode in the Red Eye is the equivalent of track mode in a Hellcat. So here we're going to go ahead and pop the hood on the Red Eye. You can see the dual snorkel hood, and the air feeds from one inlet right over to the other. And you can see right here by my hand, right there inside the hood, and it feeds over from the passenger side. And you can see it's a closed box, much larger than the one that's on the Hellcat. This box also gets air from the fender liner and the headlight. In my opinion, this is the best factory cold air induction system I've ever seen on any car. Much better than the Hellcats, and I just love it. There's no way I would ever replace this intake, ever. SRT Hellcat Red Eye, with the red eye there. It's a black plaque. It's changed from the Hellcat and the Demon. On the Demon, you have red valve covers. On the Hellcat, you have the Hemi orange, but on the Red Eye, you have black valve covers, as you can see right here. And I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but if you look down here in the cracks, I'll try to put a light on here. And of course, I have a catch can installed here. Believe me, you're going to need it on the passenger side. I already have the catch can half full on 1,500 miles. And you can see over here, there is a factory catch can that they put on the Red Eye, but they put it on the intake and the driver's side valve cover, which is bone dry on pretty much every Dodge. So I don't know why they did that on this side, but they gave us a factory catch can. So you have two options for a spoiler on the Red Eye. You can opt for the spoiler I have, which is the one that comes on pretty much all the Hellcats or Scat Packs, or you can get the Red Eye Performance spoiler, which kind of tapers down off the side and comes back. I opted for this spoiler so I could get a wicker bill and provide more content, you know, for my YouTube channel. But other than that, there was no real reason for me to get this other than the fact that I was going to put a wicker bill on it, then change it out for a performance spoiler later. The performance spoiler kind of had to grow on me. At first, I really didn't like it, but then after I ordered it with this spoiler, I realized I kind of made a little bit of a mistake and wished I had done that. Now, I opted for the Alcantara seats this time because I had the Laguna leather on my Hellcat Charger and I loved it, but I wanted something a little different. The only thing I don't like about the seats is right here you have the Laguna leather and there's Napa leather on the outside. What that means is the leather here on the side of the seat is fake and the leather here in between is real, which is the same leather found in the Charger Hellcats that have Laguna. This is basically Laguna leather here. It's the same leather I had. It's real Australian cowhide, which is what the tag says when you buy a Hellcat or a Red Eye or any Dodge vehicle that has Laguna leather. The Alcantara in the center of the seats is awesome. You can also see in the back of my seats that I have the SRT embroidered in white and, of course, the red racing seat belts. Now, when I turn the Red Eye on, you'll see, even without firing it up, just turning the ignition on, you're going to see the SRT logo on the screen and the Red Eye logo in the center. And it looks absolutely awesome. Now, when I turn it off, you'll see you get a goodbye message on the screen. Swoosh, it just shows the SRT, which is really cool. Now, sitting in these seats, they're very comfortable. Same SRT flat bottom steering wheel is found in all SRT vehicles. I love it. I opted for the Alpine stereo system and I put in my own subwoofer. You save money that way, and in my opinion, it sounds just as good, if not better. And I absolutely love it. It's the same as my Charger Hellcat. But enough talking about the Red Eye and its features. Let's just go ahead and hit the road and have some fun. So the good thing about the Red Eye having the power chiller and after chiller is the fact that we were sitting back there doing the review and the intake got up to 150 degrees and now it's 134. It will run while you're driving in track mode only. In the Red Eye, when you turn it on to track mode, it's basically going to have the high-powered cooling fans on all the time. So it's gonna sound like a fighter jet when you're parked somewhere, or if you're in a drive-through and you have it in track mode, those fans are gonna go crazy, and it's gonna sound, like I said, a fighter jet. It's really cool, but it's cooling the engine and the intake off while you're in track mode. And you can see it's down to 123 degrees, so we've dropped 12 degrees off the intake temperature since turning it to track mode. The only downfall to having the power chiller on while you're driving in track mode is the fact that it feels like an oven in here. You can't turn the heat off. So it's 95 to 100 degrees in the car right now, and that's the only downfall, so I highly recommend having your windows down while you're doing this. That was insane. Oh my God. I couldn't even talk during that. Feels like I'm in a roller coaster, so I was unable to say anything or even concentrate on the camera. different. The Red Eye shifts a lot faster than the Hellcat, and it almost feels like a dual clutch or a DCT. It really does, even though it's a torque converter. I've never been in a vehicle with a torque converter that shifts as fast and swiftly as the transmission in the Red Eye does. It is absolutely insane. Now here we are going into a turn with the Red Eye, and it does handle great. I love the rev matching in the Red Eye. The transmission is amazing. We're going around these corners at a speed that you wouldn't do in a narrow body Hellcat, that's for sure. It's unbelievable. Oh my God. With them lateral G's, right? Oh my God, it feels good to take those turns in the Red Eye. It handles great. The fan is really loud. We're at a gas station getting gas as we burnt up a lot of fuel on those runs. You can see ambient temperature is above what the current temperature is, so the Red Eye is doing a fantastic job. We can go in here over to race options. We can look at the race cool down, or we can go back. Line lock, we can tear up the back tires. Of course, the shift light on or off. I'm gonna turn it on. I don't know why I haven't set that up yet. I'm gonna set first gear to 5750. We'll leave that at 6. Third gear, we'll go as high as we can. There we go. Shift light is on. We're in launch control. I don't recommend going to 2000. Practice at 1000 RPM. It'll be a lot easier. You're gonna press the button down here for launch control, and it's really hard to do launch control at first. If you've never done it before, you're gonna use your left foot on the brake. Let me show you how to do this. You're gonna press this button right here. We're activated on the screen. You can see 1000 RPM. It shows you over here to launch, press the brake, and quickly apply full throttle. You're going to feel the brakes are squishy. You're gonna have to press them as hard as you possibly can. You're gonna have to press it down with your left foot, and I mean really press on those brakes, and then quickly apply full throttle. If you do that, you will activate launch control without burning out. If you don't do it correctly, you're gonna spin the back tires and smoke them, and that really sucks. If you wanna let off and not launch, you're gonna let off the gas, launch control is canceled. If you let off the brake while holding the gas, you're going to launch. That's how it works. Remember, you wanna cancel it, you let off the gas and keep your foot on the brake. So let's show you guys how that works. So here we go, I'm launching, I'm pressing the brake as hard as I possibly can, and I'm gonna go right into full throttle, nice and smooth, and you're gonna hear launch control activate. Let off the gas, everything is canceled. Now we're gonna raise launch control to about 1600. That's where it sounds best to me. I'm gonna hit the launch control button, press the brake as hard as you can, full throttle. Now, that is how you do launch control. I'm gonna show you guys up close on how I'm doing it. So you can see right here, launch control is activated at 1600 RPMs. Apply the brake and quickly apply the throttle. So you can see I got my foot on the brake right here, my left foot on the brake. Press as hard as you can all the way down. You want to press it as hard as you can, and then swiftly apply the throttle smoothly all the way, full throttle like this. Let off the gas, launch control is canceled. You don't burn out, you don't wreck your tires. That's how you do launch control properly. The biggest mistake you can make in launch control is pressing the brakes lightly, like I am right now, just at a casual stop. If you don't press them hard enough, you're gonna turn the back wheels against the brake and not only wear out your pads, you're going to spin the tires and smoke them. You don't wanna do that. By pressing the brakes really hard, you activate the launch control, which locks up the rear tire, which is launch control. Now, one thing I wanna mention about my Red Eyes, I do have the rock guards from ZL1 add-ons. You can see right here. You definitely wanna have those on your wide body Challenger, whether it's a Demon, a Red Eye, a Scat Pack, or a Hellcat, doesn't matter. You can see I've got them back here on the rear as well, and from a side profile view you can see how it slightly sticks out, but not enough to really notice. These rock guards are fantastic, and they keep the debris and rocks off your paint and prevent you from getting any chips. I also have Expel on all 4 fender flares, as well as a strip back here and the mirrors and the entire front bumper. Everything's pretty much the same as the Hellcat. If you want to use your custom settings, you double press the SRT button. It'll take you right to custom settings. You can set from track to sport to custom or to full auto, which is street. It shows you that I have the red key right here. You can put it in valet mode or eco mode, which is self-explanatory, same as all the other Hellcats. The infotainment system, of course, is the Uconnect, the same as every other SRT vehicle. Going in the performance pages, it's identical to the 2018 SRT Durango and all the SRTs 2018 and up. And you can see right here is the engine output, which will show you your PSI, your power, your torque, your pressure, which gear you're in. These are your G-force meters. The rear is acceleration, the front is braking, and left and right is when you're turning. Also has some custom gauges you can place over here on the third or fourth page. Now here's your gauges. You have oil temp, oil pressure, coolant temp, battery voltage. You can go over trans temp, boost pressure, air fuel ratio, and coolant temperature. Then you go over to the third page and there's air intake temperature. You can add custom gauges at any time. Also the timers here, which is where your quarter-mile braking distance, 0 to 60, and reaction times will be. Going over here to the home page, this is where you can set the different gauges that you want. You can go into settings here. If I wanted to set a top widget to the left, I can click on plus, timers, or gauges, and I can set a gauge. Let's say I wanted to set the boost pressure. I can go ahead and select this and it'll set that to the top left. You can click here anytime to add timers or widgets. When you are here looking at your gauges, you can also press the arrow up right here or diagonal to the right, which will allow you to see all your different gauges in a graph, which is really cool. Your intercooler temperature will go up and down. It'll show you exactly where it is right here. You can see right here is the air to fuel ratio. And if you want to exit, you press the arrow diagonal down right there and it brings you back to the quick widget display of all your gauges. And then when you go home, this is just your quick settings. I always have mine on G-force, boost pressure, and trans temp, but you can change this out at any time as well. When you go over to the main display, this is where all your vehicle info will be. It shows everything about the vehicle, same as the Hellcats, boost pressure, intercooler temperature, your tire pressure, trans temp, oil life, battery voltage, air intake temperature, power and torque, fuel ratio, the same as the other screen. And then you can go up here, show your digital speedometer. Number 3 is your performance for your quarter mile and eighth mile timer, 0 to 100. Braking distance right here. G-force. You can have your current G-force and your peak. This is current. Then you can also have your peak right here, which displays the highest number you've achieved until you reset it, that is. And just like every other SRT vehicle, your fuel economy, your trip meter, the music, messages, screen setup, I can change where my compass is here in the top left, temperature in the top right, and of course my coolant temperature in the bottom left and fuel gauge in the bottom right. I can change those out to anything that I want at any time, which is really cool. Diagnostics, as well as your speed warning. You can set that to give you a speed warning at any speed of your choosing. I love the red SRT on the steering wheel. One of the best features ever is when they put that light on the steering wheel. It really gives you that race-inspired feeling inside the car. Well, that is going to do it, guys, for my review of the 2019 Red Eye. It is such a fantastic vehicle. If you're an advantageous person who loves to hit the throttle, please take caution with the Red Eye as it'll get out from behind you and you don't want to lose control. It's got a lot of power and those tires do have trouble sticking. But with that being said, the Red Eye truly is a marvel of engineering. 800 horsepower with a warranty, handles good around corners. Really fast in a straight line, extremely high top speed. Speedometer says 220. There's guys that have had them up to 210. I'm not going to mention any names, but they are definitely very fast. The Red Eye is a vehicle of heritage from Dodge. The Red Eye will truly go down in history as the most ballsy, in-your-face American muscle car ever made. Well, of course, next to the Demon, but this is a more streetable version. And in my opinion is one of the best vehicles Dodge has ever made, if not the best. So with EPA regulations coming in the next 8 to 10 years, we're not exactly sure when that's really going to be enforced, but I can tell you one thing's for sure is American muscle cars like this are not going to last forever. The Camaro ZL1, the Hellcats, the Red Eyes, and of course the Mustang GT500 and GT350, you're not going to be able to enjoy those forever, so let's enjoy them while we can. Back in the 70s, someone said, hey, you're never going to have more horsepower than this, right before regulations kicked in. Now fast forward 40 years later and we have an 800 horsepower street machine like the Red Eye and the Demon. It really is a great time to be alive if you're a car lover or enthusiast. Get out there and enjoy the road while you can before EPA regulations kick in. It's a great time to be alive. Like I said, all these exotic muscle and sports cars from around the world with lots of horsepower. We're living in the golden age of horsepower right now. Our parents and our grandparents have been telling us for years how great the 60s were, and the era that we live in right now supersedes it easily. So get out there and enjoy your car right now while you can, because this is the golden age for performance vehicles. If you're stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe, thumbs up, comment below. What do you guys think of today's video? For all my returning subscribers, thanks so much for watching. As always, don't forget to check out my brother's channel, This Can't Be Happening, all lowercase, one word. Check me out over at twitch.tv, Driveway Demons. And don't forget to support the channel at drivewaydemons.com. Get your key tags, t-shirts, hoodies, and more over there. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video.